Namaste everyone. Welcome to the second module of Yoga History, Philosophy and Ethics. In this module, we are going to understand some basic concepts of what a yoga means, who is a yogi, what are the basic concepts from a philosophical point of view, and the ethics that we should carry as yoga teachers ourselves. So, what is a yoga and who is a yogi? Typically, a yogi person is someone who practices yoga, which can be spiritual, mental, or physical discipline rooted in the ancient Indian traditions. In Hinduism, yogi is a person who renounces on the worldly life and dedicates themselves completely to the spiritual practice. In modern day, the term yogi has included any person who basically practices yoga. Key characteristics of a yogi. So, how can you define a yogi? So, some of the examples are someone who is like aspiring to be spiritually on a higher level, someone who's seeking spiritual enlightenment, someone who lives a disciplined life. So, he works out at a certain time, he does pranayama at a certain time, he does meditation at a certain time every day. So, it's like a disciplined life. Someone who is master of certain yoga techniques, like it can be pranayam, meditation, yin yoga, hatha yoga, vinyasa yoga, any type of yoga related activity. Someone who practices ethical living, and we are going to understand more of what that means according to the eight limbs, which is niyama and niyama. Someone who connects to the nature and its simplicity. Traditionally, yogis live a very minimalistic lifestyle. What is yoga? So, yoga is basically a holistic practice that originated in ancient India. It encompasses the physical, mental, and spiritual disciplines. It has been practiced for thousands of years and is designed to promote an overall well being, including physical health, mental clarity, and spiritual growth. Historical background. Everyone is aware that yoga came from India over 5,000 years ago. And Patanjali's Yoga Sutra are one of the most important yoga spiritual and scriptural pieces that you can read to understand more on the details of what yoga actually is. What are the types of yoga? This is a fun discussion because there are so many different types of yoga, right? Go Hatha yoga, Vinyasa yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Iyengar yoga. In the modern day and age, there's like goat yoga and all those different types of concepts. But when you come back to the basics, there's basically Hatha yoga, which focuses on the physical postures, asanas, Ashtanga yoga, which is a rigorous style. It involves certain set of practices that you repeat on a daily basis. Vinyasa yoga, as everyone knows, is a flow yoga and it focuses on hip openings, hamstring openings, shoulder openings, chest opening, heart opening, different types of peak poses typically we do. Yeah. Iyengar yoga is another type of yoga. It practices like precise alignment and it actually encourages the use of props like yoga blocks and straps. Kundalini yoga, it awakens the dormant energy at the base of the spine or the Muladhara chakra. Bikram yoga, restorative yoga, yin yoga. These are like the basic different types of yoga that we practice. What are the eight limbs of yoga? So Patanjali or Saint Patanjali is the one who came up with the eight limbs of yoga, known as Ashtanga yoga. So what do you mean by eight limbs? That's a very common question. A lot of students always ask me like, oh, what do you mean by eight limbs? Basically, imagine it's like when you think of yoga, you only think like, oh, a person who does yoga, a person who does headstands, handstands, arm balancing. But that is technically, even though it is correct, it is a insufficient definition. The eight limbs are primarily, it is not only involving the yoga, which is the asana, that is one limb. Then there is pranayama, which is breathing, that is another limb. There is meditation, that is another limb. Similarly, there's like yama, niyama, ethical disciplines, how to live your life, self discipline, things like that. So there are, imagine eight separate chapters, and once you understand all those chapters, you understand yoga in its entirety. Of course, yoga is such a vast subject you can never understand in its entirety, but at least that gives you an idea of what those eight limbs are. So, one is yama, which is the ethical discipline, and there are different examples. So, for example, there's ahimsa, non violence. So, non violence doesn't only mean like non physical violence, but also mental violence, things like that. Satya, truthfulness, always be truthful. Asteya, non stealing. A person who should not steal, basically, take someone's ideas, time, or objects. Brahmacharyasana, exercising self control, especially in the sexual conduct. Aparigraha means non possessiveness. And most of the yogis are, as you know, live a minimalistic lifestyle. They are not into the material possessions or the worldly possessions. That's called aparigraha. So, in yama, which is the first limb, these are like the five basic rules that a yogi should follow to live a yogic lifestyle. The next is the niyama. So, what is niyama? Niyama in Sanskrit means an order, a rule, or like established guidelines, right? So, some of the niyamas are shaucha, which is purity. That doesn't just mean purity of your body and doesn't mean like we should bathe like 3 times a day, but it's a purity of mind, body, and soul. So, we don't wish harm on anyone. We always have positive thoughts about everyone. Uh, a very positive mindset, right? Santosha means contentment. Cultivating a sense of contentment and satisfaction in every aspect of your life. So it might be whatever work you're doing, it might be a menial work or it might be important, but give equal importance and fully dedicate yourself and commit to getting the job done correctly and perfectly. Tapas, self discipline. Developing a self discipline or determination through austerity. This can, for example, doing yoga every day, doing workout every day, doing walking every day. There are different examples, but something that you do on a daily basis. That's called self discipline. That's called tapas. Swadhyaya, self study. Someone who is self reflecting and studying some sacred texts. This includes like self analysis and understand one's own behavior. Ishwar pranidhana means surrender to the higher power, and it can be any higher power that you believe in. Does not matter, but believe in some kind of higher power. Now, third, as everyone knows, asana. These are the physical postures. So this is the third limb of yoga, which is basically all the poses that we do: standing poses, seated poses, twisting, inversions, back bends, all different types of poses, right? Fourth is pranayama, which is the breath control. Now, pranayama, prana, what does prana mean? Prana means life or life force, and pranayama means controlling your life force, breathing, controlling your breathing. There are so many advantages and benefits of doing pranayama on a daily basis, and we are going to get into that into like much more details when we list down and kind of go through practice of doing different types of pranayama. There are Nadi Shodhan, Bhastrika, Kapalbhati, Anulom Vilom, different types of pranayama. How to breathe differently, what are the advantages of different types of breaths, how it increases your lung capacity, how it not only makes you physically fit, but also helps you get emotional control, lessens your anxiety. A lot of different benefits of pranayama, yeah? Next is pratyahara, which is a withdrawal of senses. It's a practice basically of withdrawing senses from external objects and distractions. For example, during meditation, a practitioner will focus on their breath and become less aware of the external sounds or sensations, thereby reducing their distraction and enhancing concentration. Dharana means concentration. Dharana involves focusing your mind on a single point or a single object. It can be focusing yourself on your breathing, focusing on a light, a candle light, focusing on a visual object. There are different types of meditation practices that helps with this. Dhyana, meditation. Dhyana is a practice sustained in meditation where the mind is continuously focused on a single point or concentration, leading to a state of flow. Sitting in silent meditation, focusing on breathing, allowing thoughts to come and go without any attachment, without any judgment, to achieve like inner peace, inner quiet. One of the concepts in meditation that you are going to be seeing pretty soon when we delve deeper into the meditation is, a lot of times students ask me a question like, when I'm meditating, a lot of thoughts come in my mind. What should I do? Well, the answer is just observe those thoughts. Don't involve them, don't involve in them, don't try to analyze them, just observe them, and then they will pass and there will be a new thought, and then that thought will pass, and then there will be a new thought. So just don't get fixated when we are doing meditation about, oh, I'm thinking of this, I have to worry about like my work or my partner or my children or my health. Those thoughts are going to come and go. That's just a natural process. In meditation, our only object is to view the thoughts, don't analyze them, don't judge them, view them like a bystander and let them pass. Samadhi. Samadhi is the ultimate goal of yoga, where a practitioner basically experiences a state of oneness with the object of meditation. It is a state where you reach, it is full of bliss, unity, and complete in the present moment. Lot of yogi practitioners, especially in India, they meditate so much and they have dedicated their life that they have achieved samadhi, where it's like a complete spiritual bliss. So, in summary, these are like the basic 8 limbs of yoga that we just discussed. Now, for our purposes, we need to focus for the 200 ROIT program. We need to focus on the asanas, the meditation, and the pranayama, and we are going to get into details of that. But it does kind of help a yoga teacher understand the overall concept. Like, okay, so I also need to focus on my discipline, because without discipline I will not be able to get the flexibility that I need to do yoga every day. At the same time, if I'm doing yoga every day, I need to do all the other things, so that's self discipline and all those other aspects that follow along with it. Yeah.